Hi guys, welcome to my videos. So guys, in this video I'm going to share tips for passing your G driving test in your first attempt. So before I proceed further, if you have not already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe right now because I regularly upload videos, and if you have any concern, any question, anything that comes in your mind, feel always absolutely free to ask us. This is your own channel. Alright guys, so let's proceed. So guys, yesterday I passed my G Drive road test, that is also called G2 exit test, and after that you get the full license and you don't have to reappear for the exam. So in my case, when I moved to Canada, I had absolutely no prior driving experience. With that, first I had to go for G1, that computer based exam. After that I went for G2 test and then for this G. So for G2 I joined an institution where I used to live before, and also I took some road lessons. Those were really important and those really helped me to get initial confidence, and my both exams I cleared in the very first attempt. Now for the G2 exam, what I found was um, I was not nervous then because I did not have any hope, but still I passed. But for this G exam, I was really very nervous. I was like shivering for some time. So when it comes to the tips for passing the exam, don't be nervous, because when you are nervous and you are worried, that's the moment when you make mistakes. But fortunately, even though I might have made the mistakes, but the examiner did not tell me anything like that and he passed me. So I think it's fine. All right. Now, few things you need to understand. Like G means a driver who is like full license, so you are supposed to drive on highways and all. So before you go for the test, there are certain things you should always practice well, like your parking. He can ask you to do a 90-degree front parking, back parking, parallel parking, 3-point turn. So all these you should be familiar with. For that you need to do good amount of practice. Like what I did, like around starting from 10 days before the exam, I used to go to a Walmart parking, and uh, very early in the morning, like 7 a.m., when there was nothing. So I did absolute parking because I there's a Walmart around 9 kilometers from my place, where if you go, like they have a huge parking lot and the crowd is minimal in the morning, and in the back side of the Walmart there are parking spots and nobody goes there, so it's completely vacant 24 hours. So I go there and I did the parking practice over there. That was absolutely fine and helped me a lot. I must say, like I learned all the technique, because you never know in your frustration what may happen in your nervousness. So first of all, parking should be practical, and checking your blind spot is very easy. Whenever you are gonna make a turn, even if like he may tell you to go to the left lane, come back, or take a right turn, take a left turn. So looking is very important. Even before the exam begins, you are being asked that you just don't have to move your eyes, you have to move your head, so that the examiner can see you, that you can actually do these maneuvers uh, properly. That's important. So practice this really well. Another thing that is my take on, like it's always good to be talkative. Like when I was driving with him and we were just moving, I saw a stop signal. So what are you supposed to do when you see a stop signal? You are supposed to stop there before the line. But if you don't, you're going to lose the points for sure. You may even fail the test. But it's always good to let the examiner know. So how I do, okay sir, I'm seeing a stop sign here, we have to stop, and I stopped. So it worked in that case, and there was uh, no issue then. And then for all turns and all, I did proper. Like when I say proper turn, like suppose he asks you to go to the, like you are in the rightmost lane, okay, and then he tells you to go do a right turn. So when you take a right turn, what are in which lane you are supposed to enter? Rightmost. Similarly, when you take the left turn, like you are on the left lane of the street, and you have been asked to go to the left, you're again going to go to the left turn of the left lane of that direction. Make sure you make it consistent. Don't do any inconsistent movement here, that may reduce your point. Okay. And sometimes he may ask you to do something like indirectly. For example, he may tell you, okay, suppose like he may ask you to park at the corner you parked, and then he may ask you like suppose your car is in an emergency situation, something is wrong here, what are you supposed to do? Flashlight on, signal, and then downhill uphill parking. These things you should be aware of. And you are, let's say, in a housing colony and you are driving, so in the neighborhood he can tell you anywhere, okay, whenever you find a good place to park, go and park. So that time you need to be very careful where exactly you are parking, because if you see a fire hydrant, you know that within 9 meters you are not supposed to park. So don't do that. And then comes the major game on the highway. So on highway, the practice is always enter while matching with the lane speed. Like from ramp, when you move the acceleration area, make sure you adjust your speed properly. So there I did the trick. I had good practice. In fact, I drive on 400 highways a lot. So I did not have to do anything special. I just drove it. I brought it to the speed. I entered, and again on highway, blind spot checking while changing the lanes or movement, adjusting the speed, maintaining the good distance. I mean good distance. I'm not telling you to drive too slow, because again that's gonna be a hazard and it could be risky for you and your examiner. Don't do that. You need to match with the lane speed. You should not like do over speeding. And then you have to maintain the good distance, like 3-second distance that people say for safe. Like suppose what happens, due to whatever reason the car in front of you does a hard brake, you are not supposed to go and hit, right? So you should have the sufficient distance so that you also get the enough time. Everyone is supposed to follow that. So make sure you follow. You don't drive like you're driving at 100, and if there's like just 2 meters distance between you and the car in front of you, that's not a good sign at all. So make sure you do this and listen to your examiner very careful. Sometimes he tells you, okay, go into this line, go into this lane. So follow him and keep on talking to him. You may know, like every person in this world is different. When I went for my G2 test, my examiner, he was also talkative. When I was telling this, he was responding, yeah, this lane, that lane, that's soft and whatever. But for my G exam test, the guy who sat next to me, he was not talking at all. He was only speaking the instructions. Okay, left turn from here, right turn from here, 3-point turn from here, merge into highway here, and all such things. Only instructions that I'm supposed to do. He was not even responding to simple things. Like I said, it seems cold. He did not respond. But I cannot force him for a response. It's not possible. Another thing I did not like was like when he entered the car, it was like cold, 1 degree, almost zero out there. It was freezing, and he opened his side window and one back window. I cannot stop him because he should feel comfortable in the car. So go ahead. Another thing you can do is like make sure like your car is in good condition, because if you go with a car that is in bad condition, there are certain criteria. If your car doesn't match the standard, the examiner has every right to refuse the ride. So make sure it meets the standards. You can read it on drive test site. And then also like suppose you are in a car that has got too many dents, too many scratches, like it has been part of an accident and you haven't done any body work, so that may fall. It's my thinking, like if I'm gonna sit in a car and for examine, and I see that it has got lot of dents, lot of scratches, lot of things, what would come in my mind? This driver is used to such collisions, so who knows, the examiner may start shivering. But that wasn't the case with me, so it was fine. And traffic rules are really very important. Right of the way, like you will be coming through stop all signs, so you should know who has the right of the way to move out first. And you should follow it. And then pedestrians and all, like when you are taking a right turn on left turn, if even if you have the green signal, that doesn't mean you just drive right away. You have to check for pedestrians, and if a pedestrian is crossing, let them. Don't mess up. I have seen people driving like they when the signal changes from red to green, they take a sharp fast turn so that before pedestrians could step on the street, they can move out. I have seen it many times. Many people I have seen it doing it all the time. But make sure you don't break the rules, because you might be doing it in your day-to-day life, which you are not supposed to do. I never say you do it. Follow all the rules, because that is how you can minimize any chance of accidents. But in your exam, be very careful. There's no compromise on rules. And after all that, if everything goes well, you are gonna get good results. To be honest with you, when I returned, I wasn't told my result immediately. He told me to turn the engine off. I turned and I looked at him, but he did not look at me. He looked at his tablet and he was doing something. I did not know what. I cannot even ask. And my heart was pounding that what is gonna be the result out. Then after a few moments, he said, "Congratulations, you passed." And I became happy. Wow. I drove over 100 kilometers to reach the place where I did the test, and then if I would have failed, I would have got a shock. So that's how it goes, guys. So I hope that's gonna help you all. Thank you.